running good. We're awesome. All right, so you guys can see me in that camera, right? I'm orange, red, and yellow. Everything around me should be blue and black. We're looking for blue and black things to move on their own. So it's going to basically fluctuate based on whatever's inside the screen. I'm going to ask Howard to try to keep somebody in view at all times, because our skin temperature, 97 to 99 degrees, is going to be warmer than anything else out here on this chilly night. Okay, so you're going to try to keep a person in view, whether it's me or anybody else in the group. Sorry guys, you're going to be orange, red, and yellow in the video. So, but it will fluctuate. Here's what happens when there's nobody in the video. Now there's orange, red, and yellow somewhere else where it really shouldn't be. I want a full baseline, so that way we can see if a blue or black spot's going to move on its own. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, so you're going to hold this horizontal, just like that. The red square on there means that it's recording, so if it turns to a circle, you're the jerk, because it takes me way longer to get you your data back, because I have to splice video together so you guys have one nice video to watch instead of multiple splits. So again, there'll be certain areas where people are a little sketchy about their cars being videotaped. I'll kind of give you a heads up, and it's kind of, again, we're not going to go to sightseeing places. You're going to see that as we move along. Let's see here. Where do we want to go with next? Spirit boxes. We're going to be using two different types tonight. The first one, it records everything. Who's not familiar with a spirit box? All right, perfect. Most of you. Jory, you're like...
You said who's not?
Yeah, who's not?
Oh, yeah, I'm not.
She's the pro. She's going to be my apprentice tonight. By the end of the night, I'm going to give her a job. So, spirit boxes like this one in particular is going to sweep through all of the FM radio stations at a very quick rate. Okay, so it's on your TV shows and YouTube videos, it's that white static noise, and then Zach Bagans tells you what he thinks he heard in there, and it's usually something demonic. Yeah, that's all BS. So, I'm not a fan of Zach. I watch it because he uses different technology, and I have to see what the hell he's up to now. But anyway, this one's set up a little different. It's slower. I did that on purpose. I want the radio chatter to come through. So the DJs, the song lyrics, the commercials. It's kind of like Bumblebee from Transformers. Did y'all see that movie?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so how we use the radio to talk to us. So when we hear something out of this, it's a 50-50 shot that it might actually be connected. Okay? Again, I'm just giving you ratios. So you're going to be listening for things. The cool thing is it doesn't record any outside noise. So it's not going to hear any of us. And when it's on mute, it's still recording at a nice even level. I don't know how it does it, but it's the reason why I bought it. So that way, when I'm telling stories and kind of going through explanations like this, you're just going to keep it on mute because it's going to record for us anyway. This is my favorite tool because when I do my own investigations, I put this thing on mute and throw it in my pocket. Nobody knows what I'm doing. I'm going to listen to it later. I tested something last night that worked out really well. I'm going to have it go in reverse order. I don't know why. We're in a phase of we just had a new moon. Oh, come on. Why is the record button not working?
Oh, okay.
That's why I was telling
you. Sorry. This guy's actually been acting up a little bit. We need to probably replace it. There we go. Alright, you have one button. It's a little wheel right here at the top. You control the volume. That's it. It's already recording. So as long as that little SD is on the screen, you're recording. So I'll be telling you more about these devices as we move along, guys. Our first location is actually haunted. It just doesn't have a long history. So it's a great practice area for all of you to kind of see what your tools are capable of. And that kind of respect to that. I'm going to be using this guy, but I'll explain that in a few minutes. Let's get to some tools in your guys' hands. So I got a new device, and I don't like to give new devices to customers until I know exactly how they work and how they react to things. So again, I'm still experimenting with it. This will be my third night with the device. It's called a Mel REM meter, and I'll explain it when I get to it. It's been super cool so far. I just don't know a whole lot about it yet. Let's see. What's going on here? You want to park right there? Is that what you're trying to do? I think that's exactly what it is. So I'm going to give you a spirit box as well. This one's a little different. It's an app. The cool thing is you don't have to do anything with it besides hold it. It's going to give us a word from time to time in the center of the screen, okay? And then it's going to save all those words to a list. So last night's tour, they actually had more than that. Yeah, I used my phone, that's why. This is 2 nights ago. They had 58 terms. That's about average. We should get about 55 words in about an hour and a half to 2 hour time frame. So I'm going to clear them out, start you guys off fresh. 80% of what shows up on this app doesn't mean anything. It's the 5 to 20% that I will put in bold letters and tell you why it's relevant. And it'll usually have a link next to it. So if it's that they're talking about my green jacket and it says green jacket, obviously I'm going to give you the explanation that I have a green jacket on. And they want to say something to me, but it gives me a jersey number from a football player I'm about to talk about, and then his first name. I'm going to give you links to that football player's stats and those kind of things to prove what he was. Does that make sense? So again, I'm not here to make stuff up. You guys need to know what you're looking at. So first word we have is fish. Doesn't mean a damn thing. It's part of the 80%. Let's see, what else do I want to go with? K2 meter. I gotta get you to speak up somehow. I heard some laughs, that's about it so far. So K2 meters, we're pretty sensitive to EMF readings, okay? That's electromagnetic fields. There's 3 different types. This is the common one they use on TV. It's our first indication that something is happening, okay? Also keep in mind, I don't get excited with one device going off. So if you hear something really cool, that's awesome. I still need an EMF reading or something else to go off. That's how this works. So again, one little guy, that's cool, but I need something else. So the first type of electromagnetic field is natural. It comes from the earth, so that's not doing anything. It's just green. So the next thing is going to be electronic devices. Keep in mind, I'm handing out electronic devices. It would literally have to be touching it for it to make it go off, and what it's going to do is make it go into a rhythm. It's going to look like a pulse, a heartbeat. So we don't want that either. We want this thing to go crazy. We want it to go a little nuts. And then I'm still going to try to debunk what it is and where it's coming from. So again, it's a great tool for somebody with a spirit box, so that way you guys know when to stop and ask questions. If you guys notice, I'm kind of putting you in teams kind of thing. You guys came in pairs, which is nice and easy. But everything in my bag that's set up for 10 people is set up for 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Like it's always 2 people at a time. So that's going to go to you.
Can I see what that looks like?
Yeah. It's a very simple model.
Okay.
So probably going to eliminate it out of this tour soon, or just save it for when I have like little kids, because it is a very simple tool and it doesn't differentiate the different types of EMF readings. I want something that's going to separate it for us. So that's where my new guy comes into play, and this is called a Mel REM pod, and it does a couple of things. So first off, it gives us ambient temperature. So if Howard has something weird going on, I'll be able to see where the cold spot is actually being generated from, and that's where the yellow probe comes in. This guy with the antenna is actually a REM pod. So what it does is when something gets close to it, let me reset it, it always has to have a baseline. So if something gets close to it, it's going to make a noise. Okay, so the closer I get to it, the higher it's going to go. Okay, so it's very sensitive. I'm still learning a lot about it. It also gives me, of course, the guy with epilepsy gets flashed in the face. Right? I got jokes, folks. Come on, there we go. So, jeez, we're just gonna shut that off because it's again, if I jerk it a little bit, the EMF field breaks. It's actually creating an EMF field around the antenna. So again.
So you would turn that on if you get like a reading or something.
Correct.
Okay.
So, if I see like some weird temperature drops, like it's saying it's about 52 degrees out here right now, if we go to like 45, I'll get excited, which is about a 5-degree drop. And that red light is crazy. I don't even think I've seen it do that yet. Like,
That was real quiet. I might want to get on the side.
we don't make ghost hearing stories in the cemetery. That's usually my running joke. Don't cross the street too fast, you become a ghost. Alright, so that's, I don't want no house. There we go, units adjusted. Alright, so this will just stay in my pocket and I'll just kind of pull it out from time to time. If I see anything weird, I'll kind of show you what I'm doing with it. And I'm going to bounce around with you guys back and forth a lot too. So, let me wrap this bag up real quick and then kind of tell you about this building at the same time. Questions, comments, concerns? Putting you guys to work, you good? So, most people, believe it or not, I get people upset because I'm handing them tools. They do not want to be part of it. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into. That's why I usually ask that question. And then they thought they were going sightseeing. So I also put in that line. This is not sightseeing. So, the place that you guys are leaned up against, they used to be called Big John's. Big John used to be a football player. 1947 New York Giants. Keep in mind, whenever I tell you histories of a place, I'm going to emphasize certain key words, so that way when we listen to the recording, you guys know what exactly you're listening for. So here, it's 47, New York, and Giants so far. His name is Big John Kennedy, not Candy, John Candy the actor, but John Kennedy with an extra A. So anyway, it was named for him. He owned the place. He used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets that were coming in from the Citadel, if they were of age or not to drink. One night, two guys come in, they're not of age to drink, and he tells the bartender to kick them out. So he does. They leave pretty mad. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John sees what's going on, and they get into a bar fight. Obviously, right? It's his place. He doesn't want them stealing the cash register. So he's beating them up on the floor. A couple of shots were fired. Really? No, I'm shouting at you. John gets shot in the neck, and a bullet ricochets and it lands in the wall. He gets up and he goes back to the bar, and he says, "Get me a beer, get them an ambulance." Now, nobody died in that story, right? John just got shot. So what's haunting the place? You want to guess?
The memory?
Bullet.
The bullet? Oh, okay.
Is allegedly still here. They're renovating this place to become something else. It actually closed down in 2015 as Big John's, and then changed hands a couple times, and it's changing hands again. But it's the bullet. So the only place I've ever gotten an EMF is in the front window, inside, from random times. Not even night to night to night, ever. You know what I mean? It's just completely random, which is what we want. We don't always want the same thing. The people that sit in the front of the bar, nauseous, headaches, those kind of things. I tell this story on purpose because if anybody's feeling any of that, I need to know immediately. We need to move on. Some people have just not been able to make it through this floor because too much activity. Psychics just look at me and say nope. They're just out. So it just depends. So if you guys, again, slightest headache, nauseous, dizziness, those are important things. I've had people pass out from this floor. So I don't say that to scare you. It's not a scary tour, right? It's all possible. Let's get our minds off our own health, right? So, if you don't know, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. So allegedly, this is where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The mantle broke off on the front of the building, struck somebody in the head and killed them. It's not anything that I can prove or verify. It's just something to get your mind off your own health. You guys ready to go something? I know, right? I gotta give these disclaimers, and it's all on audio. So, all right, we're gonna head this way.
Go ahead, bro.
See, Howard, and you were worried.
It feels
Nervous.
nervous. Who's nervous?
Those hot hands helping you out?
Yes, I have like this one tucked in the other one in my pocket. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that.
The red barn lot. Oh, the EMF's going off. Good. Has it been going off the whole time, or?
It just started.
Okay. Sometimes it'll start as soon as we walk in. Other times it'll wait.
Is there a cave?
To my knowledge, that could be a last name of a football player too. So that's something I can definitely look into. Again, I'm not a Google for everything that's going to happen. So we're standing in where I call the red barn lot. Obviously, there's a big red barn behind you. That's where we keep the horses for some carriage rides. Okay, the horses are still in there, and those panels that you see, there's no glass in them, which means they can hear us. So your spirit box that you have, Amber, you're going to keep it at an audible level to just the two of you. Okay? Not yet. We're going to talk about how to use it. So, the only history I have here, guys, is this is the same barn where we kept horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So, those are your clues, delivery milk. Right, and there was also other dairy products as well. So, spirit boxes. This is not TV. This is not YouTube. This is not. Is somebody here? Because if they say no, and somebody's here. So let's start with that.
I am not a ghost.
Right? Second off, if you hear a real estate commercial and the word houses come through, you're going to get excited because you think you heard yes. So we're just going to stay away from yes and no questions altogether. Now your spirit box works allegedly the same way as sweeping FM radio stations, but it's telling you what it's hearing, which is really cool. Instead of us guessing, it's just going to give us a list. So we're going to start off with something simple. Again, training class. So this is something you're going to already know. What color is the barn?
Red.
We're listening for red, right? So you're going to ask that question literally out loud when you go, get started. You're going to wait about 30 seconds or so. If you don't get an answer, ask again. They need time. You got to keep going with the same question at least 2, 3, 4 tries. If you get an answer, move on. Like that, it's just that simple. And sometimes they're going to give you something. You're going to see when we actually go into the more historical locations, they're going to want to talk about something. So it might be a baby, whatever. Okay, then what baby? Who's the baby's name? Kind of play off of that. But here, it's very simple. If you don't get, also keep in mind, like this is Bumblebee from Transformers, right? You can't always find the word red. He might give you something that is red in color, like a fire truck. You're not going to have a yellow fire truck, right? Have you ever seen a yellow fire truck, fireman? So it might be something along those lines. It could be a cardinal, it could be a rose, it could be any of those things that they found the word to be able to give it back to you. Does that make sense, everybody? It's about putting clues together. It really is. So, again, it's like a damn puzzle every night for me. So, in case you don't get an answer, we're going to go after what's inside the barn. We already know there's horses in there, but they're draft horses. That's their breed. There's hay in it for the horses. There's reins. They were delivery drivers. They carried milk. They carried eggs. So you could get like calcium and protein. I've had that before. But those are the clues that you would be listening for. If you get anything odd, like a specific number, 2-digit jersey number, that's something probably from Big John's that I can prove. So if you hear the number 20 and you hear John, boom, there's proof. John's number was 20 in college. So again, it's just about putting those clues together. It might be a year, and I got to figure it out when I give you the data back. So we're going to spend 5 minutes here, just so you guys get used to your devices. Your EMF's already giving you a little bit, so you guys might want to chill here. What I'm going to do with Howard is I'm going to show him a couple of things about because he's not used to looking at ghost stuff on there. He's used to looking for fires. So we're going to show him how to use that in actual ghost hunting, and I'll be right by your side. So I'm going to give you guys like 5 minutes to listen in and see what you guys come up with. If you guys hear anything, let me know. Just kind of keep a mental note, and I'll be back after I'm done with you.
Just turn it up.
Just turn it up so you can hear it. And then ask some questions.
Ask all them basic
That's why I kind of walk away. Some people are like, I don't want to say in front of the teacher. It's one of those kind of mentalities. So I kind of give you guys 3 minutes to kind of get used to, like, this is how you feel ghost hunting. And if that thing stops, that's why it's called ghost hunting. You got to go find where the next hotspot is. Keep in mind, there's no electrical lines underneath us. It's a sewer. You got nothing above you. I didn't bring you to a specific spot. I normally.
What is this place?
To be quite honest, and it's still going on. So again, have fun with it. Give me 5 minutes with these guys. All right, come on, temperature man. She's got that accent too. All right, so I want you to point your camera straight at the barn and kind of tell me what you see.
The barn turned to the base, a little red, a little blue.
So obviously, I get in the picture. It's going to move around, and the barn should be closer in the blues and the oranges.
Darker than you. Colder than you.
Colder than me, exactly. So really what I'm looking for are those dark spots. I really want them. And you can also catch thermodynamics in reverse. So if you see something grow in heat, 5, 15, 20 degrees in like a 10-second time span, stay on that spot. You know the rules of thermodynamics, I'm guessing. You know that you can't create heat. You can't create temperature. It has to balance. So that means if something is growing in heat, that means something is getting colder. I don't want you to try to find the cold spot. The reverse thermodynamics law number 2 is enough evidence for me that something is generating nearby, and if I have the EMF going crazy or something gets a word, like there's my evidence, there's my 2 things. So I get excited with that.
Okay.
This thing just said killed Monica.
Get out of here.
It just said killed Monica. It was like killed Monica.
So 2 separate words. So I wanted to show this to you too, because their stuff is really simple. With yours,
Professional.
you want to see the list. You hit the little calendar. You scroll through it. Looks like you're getting quite a bit so far. but you don't want to hit clear, and you don't want to hit those red X's to
Okay.
erase a word. You just want to, circle back. So now we got air. We're talking about the damn thermal temperature. So again, that's really what I'm after. If you would like to see some evidence from that camera, I'm glad to show it to you. He's like, yeah, show me evidence. I want to see what the hell I'm looking for.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I seen that whenever,
Right.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But no, I actually have evidence that I can show you.
Okay.
So
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant after.
No, I have evidence. I usually have it prompted, but Facebook doesn't always want to work with me. So let's go into this. It's easier to find it this way because I have an evidence folder. So this is our next location. This orange you see is a wall.
Mhm.
Okay. So you see the two
Yep.
living heads
Yep.
above it? They're living. Don't get excited yet. Come on. We're going to go to this. There are going to be two dead people going the opposite way, past the wall. It's going to be right about there.
What the hell?
And that's not a car. There's two heads that move at two different speeds. Now, there's always somebody in view.
Holy.
Cars, I've analyzed it, too far away. So even, because it would be on the opposite side of the street.
Mm-hmm.
They're too far away. You can't even see them. And again, the guy right here is always in view, so we have his skin temperature going the whole time. It's going to show up right about now.
You see it especially good, like right there.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I started this with the two heads going past the opposite way first, to show you, like, there's two living people. There's two living people right there to show you that they should be orange. And then there's two blackheads going the opposite way.
Okay.
That's why.
And that's what would that? That's the reversed.
No.
That's the regular.
That's
Just
right.
law
That's
one.
yeah.
You said.
Yeah. So, again, if you see something growing in heat at a quick rate, I get excited. Just keep your focus on it, and then I have different thermometers in my bag where I can start figuring out what the hell's happening. So
Okay.
I have an infrared thermometer that just gets like surface temperature, and then of course I have the ambient off the millimeter, which is at close at hand. So I can kind of see, like, if you went up to 57 to 60 degrees, or whatever you're seeing, I can test it to find out exactly where it is.
Okay.
And this thing is fast. So I tested it as soon as I got it, I threw it in my chest freezer. I wanted to see how quick it was going to drop. It was like instant. It was within seconds. So I'm like, that's what I need, because the other one I had, it didn't go that fast. It would literally take like a minute to get down to the temperature. I'm like, I don't have a minute. If a ghost is going to be here, it's going to be quick. I need an immediate response. It was another reason why I got this millimeter. The
Okay.
millimeter is awesome. So it's an EMF. It's that REM thing where if it gets close to the antenna, plus it does the ambient temperature. Like it's got 3 different devices in it. So I needed to know how they all work together so it doesn't affect the other one before I can hand it to one of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate calling you guys customers.
That's
You're
all
not
good.
customers.
It's all right.
All right, you getting anything else on there? All right, so let me see what they got. They should have the gist of what their stuff is doing.
He just showed me a crazy evidence video. Oh my God. I heard you talking about that.
It's okay. That's why we record it. I'm going to listen to it again in the morning and give you probably 10 to 15 markers. Things that may not be relevant, but at least it'll teach you how to listen to it. So like, oh, at 3 minutes and 50 seconds, it said Big John. You know what I mean? And I'll put it in quotes so you know exactly what it is. You guys ready to learn some real history now? Alright, go ahead and turn that thing on. Don't hit the button, you just turn the volume down. Alright, come on guys, we're gonna go this.
You have some questions?
Mm-hmm. I didn't get anything but called and killed Monica.
Parking lots are full this weekend. Who's getting a ghost phone call? I heard it. Alright. How you think? Is that hard? What's that? Oh, look at you. Going up to the red. So, guys, this is, if I were to have a grand finale, this location would be it. And yes, it's another parking lot. You're going to see I love parking lots because it gives us this place to explore a little bit. And I'm glad I didn't bust out the lasers because there's too many cars in here. The lasers are strong enough to set off car alarms. So, they don't go to kids, and Nick can go to jail if they're faced in the wrong direction, and I'm caught with it. So, very careful with my laser. So what is this place? This actually used to be the home to Eliza and Charles Pinckney. So their mansion was in the front. Eliza's garden was where I'm standing, and it went all the way across the opening. And then the servant quarters were in the back. So again, I don't know exactly how big the plot of land was, but we're basically within the confines of where we are. That was where everything was. The only pictures of this place that exist were after it was destroyed. So it's very hard to kind of see where everything was. But why is this place so important? By the way, it's Women's History Month, so I'm kind of proud of myself on this story because nobody talks about Eliza. So, Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles, so that's Charles number 2, and they had a nephew named Charles, that's Charles number 3. The son and the nephew were signers of our Constitution. That's one of the reasons why this place is such a big deal. The second reason is because of Eliza. I hate politics. I don't want to talk about the Constitution. We're not getting into all that political mess tonight. So, we just got out of an election, right? So, none of you guys want to do that. So Eliza, she married Charles at a young age. I'm not going to tell you what age, so it's not what color was George Washington's white horse kind of mentality. You guys are going to get the answers hopefully from your spirit boxes, so you can find out what she was when she got married. There was a pretty big age gap, so maybe you can get that number too. But anyway, she got married because her dad over in England thought he was going to die. He was sick, and he wanted all his kids home. She didn't want to go, so she got married. Didn't give her any kind of citizenship, because we're talking colonial times, 1750s. But he basically said, Dad, I'm not going anywhere. You're not dying. So she was right. He didn't die yet. And he started sending over wedding gifts. And Eliza told you her garden was here. She was a botanist. So one of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. You guys have been driving around for a little while. You guys, who's South Carolinians, right? You guys? Georgia. South Carolina. Sorry, I'll get it right. Hundreds of people every week. So anyway, you guys know indigo is a big deal for us because our rice plantations were going downhill, and we needed another cash crop to be able to save the colonies, and indigo was that cash crop. So here's what happened. Eliza actually had slaves that were part of the Gullah culture. So if you're unfamiliar with that, there's a lot of history here with the Gullah culture. She learned from her servants and slaves how to keep this plant cultivated in obviously our very weird temperatures. So with that being said, it started here as an experiment, and then it went over to Snee Farm in Mount Pleasant and became that huge cash crop that I mentioned. Then she was able to use her dad's contacts overseas to be able to sell it. So think of like the term, well, indigo, you guys know what that is? I'm gonna guess no. Okay, so indigo, you're wearing it right now, you don't even know it. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes blue jeans blue. Yeah. So that's how we use it still today. But back then, they didn't have blue jeans yet. Blue jeans weren't around until the mid-1800s. So they used it on uniforms, the color royal blue, where that comes from. Think of the Civil War. You had the Confederate and the Union. So the Union was obviously blue, Confederates were gray. The gray was just less indigo because it will make that color too. So again, indigo is a pretty big deal for us here in Charleston, and no tour will ever tell you about it, except for when you're on a plantation. That's about it. You're not going to hear from a ghost story. So there's a couple of weird things about Eliza. Now, Eliza, she's done a lot of things for us, but weird facts, other than how old she was when she got married, is how old was she when she, you guys can ask anything you want to about her death. How old she was, what did she die from, where is she buried, where did she die, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Yeah, she's a pretty prominent lady. So, let's see, you can ask what happened to the mansion. I know I told you it got destroyed, but how did it get destroyed? That's a big question. Don't poke around with the kids for me. Like, they had children, you can ask how many, but stay away from the kids. There's a tragedy in there, and if you poke the bear, all activity will stop. So, just kind of giving you basically what will happen, because I've seen it numerous times.
Can you just answer what the question that we can't ask? Can you just answer all of them?
What do you mean?
Like,
How many family members were in her house?
You can ask whatever you want to.
how old? That's what I'm saying. Can you just answer all of the questions you just made?
Oh, no. I'm going to give you the answers before we leave.
Okay.
You're going to try to get the answers on your spirit box to prove, like, it's actual paranormal activity. So that's the whole point of it. Yeah, I'll give you the answers. I'm not going to leave you high and dry. I know what the answers are. And I'm only giving you questions I've gotten the answers to in the past. So, again, never know what you're gonna get into.
So where we're standing is where the mansion was?
Yeah, the mansion was in the front
Oh,
garden.
I said, Eliza, are you throwing stuff? It said breeze.
Oh, basically blame the wind. And actually, I think somebody just ran over a bottle. Was it?
No, I'm gonna go with the
Let's see, what else do
breeze.
you guys have? Let's see. Oh, Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back. Way to go, Chuck. Screwed that one up. So both Elizas go by their maiden name, so it's Eliza blank Pinkney. It's not their middle name, their maiden name. The name they had before they were married. They both start with the letter L. That's all I'm going to tell you. So again, I gave you a lot of really good starting questions, so maybe start with those and kind of see what you guys come up with. We are going to stay within the lot. This is a big location, so we're going to spend a good 10 to 15 minutes here based on how much the activity is working for us. I'll give you the answers and we'll move on to the next spot.
Okay.
So again, explore the lot. Just be mindful of cars in this location, Howard, with people coming in and out. They get really weird. They like to scream at us, so they don't know if that camera. Now, granted, if I was a car thief, that would be my first damn tool because I can see how long these cars have been here based on the temperature. If they've been gone here, they've been sitting here for a long time, I know I can get away with it. Just saying.
Yeah, that one just got through.
Did I give you guys a lot of clues on how to become a car thief?
A little bit. I think I'm gonna go get one of those.
Stories about how to become a car thief.com. Hashtag, I don't know. Sorry, jokes I do with my daughter. It's always a .com and then she comes up with a hashtag and then it's a funny joke for the rest of the day. But anyway, have some fun.
Trending.
Yeah, trending. I like it. Have some fun. Be mindful of cars. That is the only way in and out. So cars do like to fly in and out of here. So just kind of be careful. But yeah, ask your questions. See what you guys come up with. I'm going to play with this millimeter. Kind of take a break from the mask for just a minute or two. And we'll see what you guys come up with. Go explore.
Right.
Scram, skedaddle.
Cool.
Look at that.
I gotta get you in the picture, babe. I have to have the.
Stop.
I gotta have you in it though. Like I have to have your your temperature baseline. What was your last name? So we're both Elizas here? Did he say?
What was that jersey saying?
What'd you say? Number 8? What are we across the street from?
No. What's the name on the jersey there? I'm like asking you.
Oh, I'm asking questions. Kelly?
It says Kelly.
I think so.
Say again?
So remember when I told you it said Kelly?
Yeah.
And that's jersey we think says Kelly over there. Does it?
Serious?
Yeah.
I'm going to zoom in with the camera. That's somebody's house. Like there's offices in the back, but the front of it is houses. So technically I'm not supposed to be taking Keely or Keely? See how it's kind of worded?
Yeah.
It was like furniture. Weird, because I've gotten what I was talking about. Those figures before, and I never could put it there. It's weird.
Is there a Jacob Keely?
Oh, I'm gonna have to look into that. Because that's kind of interesting I never really paid attention to that building because it is but I wonder if there's anything being attached to that. Like if that person's not here anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. Definitely something. And I'll have to like see where I found like those terms. Because I've gotten terms around hockey before and thinking you're on the wrong sport. You know, I know just remember thinking that because that was a tool that I used to use personally. And then everybody wanted to start using it, so I was like, I'll just make a separate phone for it. But yeah, I remember thinking, you're on the wrong sport, I need football, not hockey. So that's really, really interesting.
That definitely does look like a
I don't know anything about sports. I'm the book guy.
Okay.
What kind of questions you got, babe? What city is this? Where's your family from?
Eliza, how many children do you have?
How old was your oldest child?
Give it time. Remember he said ask a question and then re-ask.
Oh.
Give it time.
Oh, whoops.
Eliza, how many children do you have? Eliza, what was the name of the plant that you had in the garden? Actually, let's go over to the garden. Eliza, what was right here where I'm standing?
Eliza, how many bedrooms did your home have? I feel like I'm talking to adults. I mean, you heard me? You heard me, babe? I said, I feel like I'm trying to get in contact with a ghost.
It died.
It died?
Eliza, who died?
What do you think? You got anything else coming through?
Eliza, how old were you when you passed away?
Okay.
We've gotten Ian, Seuss, and Don.
So I want you to also keep in mind we have 4 pieces of communication out here. So if you ask a question, the answer can go to your audio, my audio, or either spirit
Yeah.
box. So what I do a lot of times, especially in here, because we separate a lot, look at that, the whole front is empty now. How wonderful is that? That is actually a hotspot over in that corner.
Okay.
You guys want to walk up there?
Is there? Where's the audio at? So I'm not on this. So I'm not blocking. Is it over here?
It's in the
Or-
phone.
Okay, okay.
So it's just like one of those little tiny holes.
Oh no, what? I'm not blocking it if I'm holding it over here or anything.
You're just blocking the camera.
Okay, okay, okay. Cool, cool.
So what I'll do is, if I'm using, I have a person here and I'll ask Eliza how many people that I bring with me. So that's excluding me. That's a very specific number. So somebody will turn around and it's, I heard the number 8. How many of you are there? 8. Great. I just asked Eliza how many people I brought with me. So there's proof that you were over there. I asked the question over here. They got the answer. That makes complete sense. And it shows up on whatever spirit box she decides she wants to go on. Too vague. I need something more specific. So keep going. I think I need to help her like learn how to listen to that thing. She's having a hard time.
I think that we were a little rude. Okay. You want to do introductions?
Hey, Eliza.
Hi, Eliza. My name is Jory.
My name's Howard.
I would like to talk to you and ask you some questions. My knees. Eliza, can you tell me how many children you have?
Hold on. trying to get a good camera angle. Huh?
In the mall.
I'm trying to find them. How many siblings did you have? At what age did you pass away? At what year did you pass away?
Eliza, can you tell me what age you were
Oof.
when you got married?
Eliza, how many square footage was your home? Hey, babe. He said that her father was from England. Eliza, who was it in your family that was from England?
Eliza, which U.S. president was a pallbearer to your mom?
That's real people. It's not a ghost.
When they got her, she got weird things started happening. His wife very strangely died.
Eliza,
Her husband strangely died.
how did you die? That sounds so mean. I'm sorry.
Eliza, can you tell me what color my clothes
Huh? Eliza, what type of hobbies did you have? I'm trying to find.
It's on it, already on there. Eliza, can you tell me the name of one of your children?
That is Nick and
laugh.
them over there.
Huh?
What'd you say?
It says they laugh. Who's laughing?
What are you getting over here? We're asking all kinds of questions.
They laugh. It said become ski portfolio and then they laugh.
They laugh. All in one phrase? They laugh together? Interesting. So nothing really prominent yet. Nothing that's like screaming at me,
No.
pink
No.
me, mansion
No.
stuff. Because I know a lot about the kids too. So a lot of times when the kids will want to chime in, tell me about a battle they were in or a paper that they signed or whatever they did.
That's weird because I asked about the kids. I asked how many kids did she have.
It's
And that's what
exactly
it
the same
said.
stuff she's asking over there too. They laugh. That's interesting.
Ears.
Yeah, I'm not getting much. I do want to show you guys like a little bit more about this guy while we're standing here. So this is measuring units of Tesla. So the EMF that he has over there, that's exactly what these numbers are. So it's basically on the green. About 0.42 is when it starts to move into the other green, and then like every 5 to 8 units, it'll move up into the other colors. So I know the numbers well enough, so I can keep an eye on that. But this is the thing that gets super interesting, if I can hold it perfectly still without shivering. So if we get something that interrupts the EMF field, we'll know it for sure. So Eliza, this is that new box that I was telling you
It
about.
said mansion.
Medium. Did it say mansion?
Yeah, it said mansion and then medium.
Nice.
Because you asked
It's
what
this
size
photograph.
was it.
So again, that's still on green. That's me bumping it. Let me reset it. So Eliza, come to the metal rod of the box with the red light on it. If you get close, it'll make that noise. So last night when I did this, it gave me the word screeching on there. Like it was like hurting her ears kind of thing. Eliza, just get close to the box. Always notice too, I'm using terms that would be relative to their
Relative,
time frame.
yeah.
I can't say device or gadget, gizmo, all that same, or even the name of the damn device. Like it's 0.26. Now back down to 0. They've never done an archaeological dig here. We have no idea what's underneath this ground, and we know for sure it's not electrical wires. So just to kind of give you a gist of why is that thing moving. 0.97. Now it's saying it's 54 degrees. What's your crosshair say?
58.
So we're about 4 degrees different right now. I haven't shown this to them yet. They're still trying to pick up on the spirit box. It's not giving them much at all, to be honest. So we'll see what comes up out of it. Ooh. That was crazy, huh? Eliza, just get close to it. The trick I'm finding is it's got to be perfectly still. If I move it and I just dance around with it, it's going to go nuts. But they have like a baseline button to start it over.
Okay.
And then I can also change the range of how far out it goes. See how I can make it bigger or smaller, which is really weird. Like it's creating an EMF right now. That's really weird, huh?
Okay. Potential.
I'm gonna definitely take mansion. It's
Yeah.
almost like she wants us to ask about the mansion. So maybe you can try to find it.
You did.
Did you get any answers?
No, I
that
asked
was
how
the-
many rooms did the mansion
and
have?
40 square feet.
How big was the
Said
mansion?
medium.
Oh, okay. Okay, and that's
It
about
did
right.
say that.
It wasn't like a giant mansion. It was just considered a small, small to medium-sized mansion. I'll take it. I have a description of it written by the daughter, because one of the things that we would like to do is open up a store that sells ghost hunting equipment and books on the paranormal, and then have a haunted hotel upstairs. But we're also thinking about what would it take to buy this land, do the archaeological dig that's needed, and then this would be our store dedicated to Eliza.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So we have the description, but there's no true pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Nothing there.
Ghost bumps.
What was the question?
Mostly nothing.
What was the
He
question?
said there's no pictures and it said
Oh.
nothing.
Oh.
It said mostly after it. Mostly nothing. There is one photo of and it's almost like a sketch drawing, like a wood carving drawing. You know what I'm talking about, like in the old books?
What? Okay, okay. I see how it works now.
Yeah, it's all about putting the clues together. And if it's part of our conversation because they're just listening in and they want to chime in, I'll take that stuff too. Like again, I can't give you a link to that, but I'll definitely note it when I give you your notes back.
Her daughter's name wasn't Erin.
No.
Okay, just making sure, because that popped up when you were talking about
You
her
will
daughter.
know the name when it pops up, trust me, because it would seem colonial times.
Okay.
Let me bring him over here.
Could you pan over there to them?
Huh?
Could you pan over there to them? Because I feel so awkward.
Let's get. Oh.
So, come on over here, Jory. So we were talking about the mansion, and I was talking about like how I'd like to buy this place and do the archaeological dig that's needed, and open up a storage and a cemetery store that sells things and whatever. And I said, but there's really no pictures, and then the word nothing came up, and the word mostly after that. They asked how big the mansion
We're
was.
talking about the shop.
I'm kidding. So before that, before I came over, because I was still with you guys, they were asking about the size of the mansion. They got the word mansion and then the word medium. They asked it. So we're gonna take all of that as conversational pieces, because it wasn't like a giant mansion like you find out at the Battery. It was right here, and actually where you guys were standing was where the carriage house was. So they had their own horse and buggy, colonial times, so it's kind of like their garage over there. So just imagine the front of this house faced East Bay Street. So I'm pretty excited about conversational pieces too, because it is definitely something to be noteworthy of. So I can't give you links to it, but you obviously have all the recordings. Did you guys hear anything else after I walked away?
I heard 2020.
Okay. So Eliza was 22 when she got married to Charles, and he was 45. So there was a 23-year age difference between them. So if I get 22 or 23, I'm good. If I get the number 28, that was her birthday. So December 28th. So what else did I have you guys ask? Her death. So she was 70 when she died, and she was in Philadelphia when she died, and that's also where she's buried. She died from breast cancer. Talking colonial times, 1793. No such thing as breast cancer yet. We're going off medical records. So any article and book I've read about Eliza, it's all been breast cancer. The president, George Washington. So I gave you guys a suggestive thought, and I said we're not going to talk about George Washington's white porch like we did over at the barn. I did that on purpose to see if you guys would just do it on your own without actually hearing it, and you guys all passed. Good job. So you guys, none of you came up with the president, like right away. You guys get what I did there? I was kind of giving you like the red barn mentality, and you guys didn't even realize it. So again, I'm playing mind tricks on y'all. See there? See, you guys, this is why you pay the big bucks. So, you guys all asked about the children. She had 4 kids. One of them did not make it past infancy. I don't know if the baby was days or weeks old, but she did name that baby George. So if I hear the name George on a spirit box, it could be George Washington, it could be the baby that didn't make it, or it could be her father, because she named the baby after her dad over in England. I do get a lot of things from Thomas. He's another son from the battles that he was in. I usually get the word Camden show up somewhere. He was in the Battle of Camden. He led the Battle of Camden. That's how I learn about these things. How did I learn about George Washington? From an EVP that came up twice in the same week, And I was like, oh shit, there's got to be some kind of connection. George Washington, Eliza Pinckney. Oh, he was a pallbearer. Good. That can add that to the tour. Cool stuff. Let's see what else. The mansion, hot fire in the Great Fire of 1861. So if you've done any kind of tour in Charleston, you know we've had dozens of fires. I can't memorize all of them. I don't know what started it. So this one in particular went from Peninsula Coast to Peninsula Coast. This just happened to be in the name. So the only pictures are after that fire. So I was surprised that you guys didn't pick up on that. You know, he was like, I know it's fire. Sorry, I couldn't pick on the firefighter all night. And I used to pick on the skeptic, and I don't want to know where the skeptic is. It's more fun when I don't know, because this way I give you guys all the same experience, and I'm not trying to convince somebody that they're dead or alive in Charleston. So, I think that covers all the questions that I gave you guys, right? Oh, the names. So, Eliza Lucas Pinckney was the one that planted the indigo. The insignificant first wife, Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So, Lucas and Lamb were the names I was looking for there. You all failed. No, I'm kidding. Not a pass. You guys did not pass. Told y'all I got jokes. I'm not a stupid guy. So we're going to go up about 4 blocks. So hang on to those hot hands. Keep filming by all means. Your EMF meter is going to go crazy because of the parking meters. It's a false positive. So you can pretty much ignore it. You can even throw it in your pocket. Keep your hands warm if you want to until we get to the next location. So you're recording. And because it's a smaller group, we're all probably going to be chatting, so you're not going to be listening to your spirit box, I'm guessing. But what I'm listening for tomorrow morning in this time frame are names. And I'll tell you exactly why, and I'm not going to give you specific names because you might turn it up and say, I heard that specific name. Again, I'm not doing the George Washington tricks anymore, I promise. So it's my only one. I just clever that way. We're going to go to Lodge Alley, so everybody's got comfortable shoes. I already kind of looked you guys over. Again, I'm the writer. You guys are all characters to me. So again, you guys are actually laughing at my jokes, but not giving me more data. So we need to collect some stuff. What else do you got?
13.
13. You got anything else before that?
No, I believe mother was before that. Yeah, mother was before that.
Okay. There was only one daughter out of those kids, by the way. So I also look for words that are wrapped around writing because her daughter lived in the Myrtle Beach area. She married in Horry, and Myrtle Beach is Horry County. So again, you just popping away. You just want music. So, but again, they used to write letters back and forth because it's not like it was a 2-hour car ride. It would have probably been a 6-hour carriage ride. So they wrote letters a lot. So ink, pen, letter, pencil came up the other night. I'll take that too. Again, it's all that stuff I can prove. So it makes sense. Questions, comments, concerns? Nobody needs detention? Okay. All right, we're going to go up to Lodge Alley. Let's head up this way.
You know what I was thinking of,
Watch your step.
if he's done like an investigation on that the mattress store where the firefighters passed away or killed at. What are you waving at?
So I didn't want to be rude.
Walking my ass. This is where I use the restroom.
You're gonna cause an accident.
Hey Nick, do you do most of your investigations on like historical sites or
Not necessarily.
even like recent events and
Yeah.
like
I mean, Big John's fairly recent.
okay. Oh yeah, it's 1930, 40.
No,
So,
more than that. Like, he just died in 2012.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, the bar just happened to be there in the 70s.
So what about like would you do like an investigation on like where the Charleston 9 happened?
Or the what?
Charleston 9, where the firefighters get stuck in the building
I
here.
honestly don't know anything about it.
It's like one of the major firefighter losses in history, you know? Like,
Okay.
so it was a mattress store, got caught on fire, they missed something, and it was like the attic was fully involved and the whole place just got engulfed.
Do you know where the
Like,
location of that is?
I have no idea.
Okay. That's something I could definitely dive into. But yeah, I would do something like that.
Okay.
So one of my investigations was actually at I went to the 9/11 memorial in Shanksville
Uh-huh.
for Flight 93 and just visited the museum. Had all my gear with me running. Just the evidence was amazing.
Was it?
Blew my mind, dude.
That sounds pretty crazy.
So it's an episode. It's my longest episode on the podcast.
That
So,
sounds crazy.
I read a shit ton of books afterwards because I usually go in blind. I don't want to know a whole lot, so that way I'm not going in knowing I'm looking for a red barn. So I always go in blind. And my wife grew up in that area, so when we went to go visit her parents, we went to Gettysburg, Falling Waters by the Frank Lloyd Wright house. I wanted to see if there was anything there,
Uh-huh.
and then we went to Flight 93, and I was just blown away. Blown away. Too many coincidences with names, things about airplanes, all kinds of stuff. The word Iraqi came up, like, plain as day. Like, just craziness.
Yeah, that's what's getting me right now is like, I asked the question, how big was the mansion or
The media-
whatever, and then yeah, like little stuff like that.
Yep, that's what this is all about. You know, it's not Zach Bagans. And when you guys are watching your TV shows like that, it's literally, they're spending weeks in one spot. And then you're getting those 3 pieces of solid evidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're reenacting. All right, if I say my back is hurting, you're gonna look for scratches. Let's do it 20 times and make sure we get it right. It's all film. There's 3 different Pugans down here. I don't know which one they're looking at.
We went into an alley.
We sure did. With some
Did you
old
hear me?
roads.
As soon as we turned in, it said empty.
See anything along the way?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's like right over there.
How do you know?
So it wasn't- it wasn't
Could be a sentence in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I won't know until I look at it every morning.
It's all right. They're drunk. They're drinking. Warm up a little bit.
Right? You're jealous, you can say it.
I'm pretty jealous. Put on something nice and go get drunk.
That's actually the one thing I won't put up with on my tours. If somebody comes on my tour drunk, I just walk away. No refund, sorry. It says no inappropriate behavior or intoxication. Because I need you guys to be serious, somewhat. You know what I mean? You're handling my equipment, that's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I've walked away from tours before. And bachelorette parties. Anyway, so welcome to Lodge Alley. When we crossed that last street by High Cotton, that was the original Charlestown walls. So Charleston had a W in it. There's 2 words, Charlestown. So this would have been one of our first streets here in Charleston, and we can show you some kind of cobblestone. These bricks are handmade, hand-laid, made out of clay. You can see that they're not the same shape or size. The names I'm listening for in your spirit box tomorrow morning, Benjamin, John, or anybody else on the full list of people that I have that used to live here. So I normally get Benjamin or John. The ironic thing about that is they normally show up together, and it was 4 Johns that lived down here during a 100-year span, but those 2 particular guys were 2 out of 5 people that lived here in 1801, and now I'm getting more things about them. Last week I got John's last name twice in the same night, which was Johnson, John Johnson. We also have an Alexander that lived down here at one point in time, so that one shows up from time to time too. Man, this is a quiet area. I'm very brief here because it is a quiet area. There's little signs. They say this is quiet area. It's funny. So these people actually were considered lower class, and it makes sense because that's the water that way, and all those buildings wouldn't have been there. Just the Charlestown Wall. So the smell of low tide would be coming through quite often, which is obviously pretty horrible. If you've never smelled it, it's bad.
The wall. Sorry. Where the wall would be where? Right.
It would be right where that building is, right at the front of it.
Okay.
So again, it would go up Cumberland, and when we get to Cumberland Street, because we're going there next, I'll kind of give you a little bit more about the wall. But again, we're now inside the original Charlestown Wall, established in 1670. Pretty big deal.
Interesting.
But that low tide smell, low class. They did do an archaeological dig here. Tools, silverware, pieces of clothing. It's all lower class stuff. Makes complete sense. They found evidence of fires down here too, so kind of keep that in mind when you're listening to your spirit box or for audio. So again, I'm just kind of giving you those clues of things you can listen for since we're not going to turn it up in here. The Masons also used to meet down here, so the Masonic lodges are starting to show themselves too through the spirit boxes. I've heard the word Mason 3 times in the past 2 weeks, so it's almost like they want me to start talking about it. And it's not just the name Mason; it's the Mason, the Freemason lodge. So, but they used to meet down here on hot summer nights. I mean, think about these guys, big fat cats in suspenders. We get hot down here, so you guys all live in the South, so. We're going to be walking through the rest of this, but it is a neighborhood. I'm not allowed to be a tour guide in a neighborhood because I still have to follow the tourism laws, even though I'm taking you guys ghost hunting. So definitely, none of you guys have lasers. I'm not worried about that, but we definitely keep that spirit box down. We're going to be somewhat quick heading through there so that way we can get to our next location. The next parts are going to be legends and lore. It's not going to be a full-on investigation, but if we do get things along the way, it's great, and it kind of attaches to a story. It does happen from time to time. I'm not going to promise anything, but we have one full investigation like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site after I give you a few of the Charleston legends of some of the things that actually happen around that corner. You're going to see other large groups. You're going to see those big, giant 20-people groups with one guy trying to talk to 20 people. So we're going to always stay out of their way because we get a little noisy. So if I say we need to shuffle this way or shuffle that way, I kind of have to see what's going on first before I see where we're going to go. So kind of keep that in mind. I have to think on my feet a lot. So again, I won't say that the other tours don't like me, but we'll just put it out there. I'm the Lone Ranger out here, and I'm taking business. So again, you guys could have very well booked a Bulldog tour, or I have one friend in the field. He's more of a storyteller, but his stories are phenomenal. I listen to his podcast. He's amazing. It's Pleasing Terrors. So if you're looking for another cheap ghost tour of different locations, he's your guy, Mike Brown. So again, you got that on your audio. Not that I'm promoting my friends, but you guys are on vacation, right? So let's go be quiet in the neighborhood. Can everybody see? Do I need to pull out a flashlight? Yeah. Everybody good? Man, this smoking too.
Smells good. It smells good around here. What is the flowers?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
This is neat, man. This is fun as hell.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Like, I really thought it was gonna be like that one I saw. That's why I made that face.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. Because you can't really learn like.
That's what I was trying to tell you, like, about you get to use equipment.
Yeah, you did say that. You thought we were just going to be using that one device.
No, because I read the description on the website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
After looking up that group in Savannah I was telling you about, this morning I was changing my landing page. Like, I do this versus this. I do that versus this.
Hold your... Okay.
Oh, my hands.
I feel like a
I used to
camera.
work heavy forward, and I used to use these gloves because they have the grips on them too.
Uh-huh.
And you got to use a little handheld device and all that. So I would always have these ready if I had to go in my coolers and freezers. They're wind resistant. So, and the fact that they zip up, I can put those hot hands in there and they won't fall out. I love them.
And retain the heat.
I could use some of those.
My hands aren't cold, just those 2 fingers. I mean, you can see, like, it's dehydrated. You know, it's really cold. But I need those 2 fingers for phones and all the other stuff.
Oh, okay. That's why you got like
Yeah,
that.
so my thumb that's how I unlock my phone quick. And then of course, you know, I need my regular finger so I can feel stuff on there and, you know, do all that mess. But yeah, that's why those two are cut. I need to sew them up.
Have you ever seen the gloves that you can like mess around with your phones and stuff?
That's what these are supposed to do, but they don't work right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
those gloves are bogus.
See, I never tried them. That's why I asked.
They don't work. They suck.
Keep this place in mind when you guys are walking around tomorrow. I can't take you down there because it's the no-fly zone for me. But this is Philadelphia Alley. So depending on what's going on up there, I might tell you the story that's down here. So much walking.
That's a good thing.
Do you know how many people call me and ask me if I'm going to be driving them around going ghost hunting?
What's the point?
Like, no, it's a walking tour.
Build a house and call it haunted. Like, yeah, here you
When
go.
I get my haunted hotel.
Oh well, yeah. If you build it on the grounds.
Yeah. Well, this is another building I'm looking at right here. This one's haunted too. And it's got apartments upstairs, which is what I want. I don't want just your normal, you know, hotel room. I want an apartment so I can rent it out for $500 a night. And we got college kids in town. It's $50 per kid.
See, we need to move down here and
I don't have a few million in the bank right now to be buying these places. I'd like to, but I can't read.
On the low end,
On the
you
low,
need millions.
why are you yelling at me?
Yeah, that place right there is about 1.4. So, where'd that couple go? Oh, there they are. Alright, so remember the alley I told you guys to kind of keep in the back of your head? So that's the other wall of it. Much warmer over here, by the way. What's your temp?
I'm getting 53 right
It
here.
seems warmer. Maybe it's because there's no wind. But anyway, do you guys see the doorway in the wall over there?
Yeah.
Okay, so that place used to be called Dueler's Alley. So that's where the duels would occur for Charleston. So I think I'm going to go with this story because there's a lot there. And if you guys decide to do it, and there's actually there's some really cool things, features I want to point out. But that doorway is where the dead guy would come through if there was a death from the duel. He would come through the doorway, over this courtyard, and then over to St. Philip's Cemetery where they would drop the body and then go celebrate the winner. Yeah, nobody ever talks about that door. Just kind of like Eliza. Nobody talks about her either. So here's what goes on with the duel. We all talk about one specific duel. There was a gentleman that moved down here from New Jersey, and he was supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda's parents just died, and she inherited a whole bunch of money. And the attorney that was handling that money said, "You're not going to get married yet. Send the doctor away. I think he's just after your money." So he moves to Charleston, start his new practice, and move Amanda down here once he's doing pretty well. So she's about to get comfortable, kicking her shoes off.
Oh, my sock came off.
That's harsh. I love the shirt, by the way. The MTV, giving us 2 years of music, 30 years of service. It's great. So, where was I? So he moves down here, and the coachman that brings him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. Yeah, that's uptown. So he's not off to a good start. But somebody, luckily, was walking by, seen what was happening, and he said, "You don't want to stay here. Let me take you somewhere else." His name was Ralph Isaacs. He was an attorney in town. So Ralph and the doctor, his name was Joseph Brown Ladd, by the way. And I haven't told this story in a while, so I'm sorry if I stumble over a couple of the pieces. But he takes him to 59 Church Street, which this is exactly where we're standing, 59 Church Street. So he stays up the road that way. The two become friends, and they used to go see plays together, but the doctor's practice starts to take off. So he's making a whole hell of a lot more money than the broke attorney here in town. So when they go see these plays, they have to sit in different seats. Because he gets better seats because he makes more. It's a hierarchy system. So, but the doctor, again, because he's, practice is taking off, he becomes known as the whistling doctor. Because he whistled all the time. Amanda's moving down, he's making lots of money, life's going well, he's doing pretty good. One night, they're walking home after one of these plays, and they start arguing, Ralph and the doctor. So, I was just wondering, like, you getting a back rub? I'm next. So, they're talking about this play, they start arguing. It turns into an insult party on the doctor's fiance. So now he pissed off the doctor. They go their separate ways. Now Ralph is from here, so he has ties to the newspaper. So he calls the newspaper, he puts an ad in there telling what the whole city, what a disgrace the doctor is to the city of Charleston. Pisses the doctor right off. So, of course, the doctor calls him, says, let's go finish this in Dueler's Alley. Basically, somebody's going to die, right? So they go down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, they shoot. The doctor shoots his gun in the air. He didn't want to kill his friend, he just wanted to make a point. They were arguing over something stupid, he was willing to forgive. However, Ralph took his one bullet, put it in the doctor's kneecap. He wanted to make his point too. So, the doctor, he didn't die, so he didn't go through the death gate. His friends pick him up and they carry him back home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later. Now he's a doctor, and he can't heal himself. So, 1800s, crazy doctor. Probably had to bleed him out several times. So, they say as you walk through that alley, you can hear the whistles and or the gunshots from the doors. So the whistles obviously would be from the doctor. Do I have a couple of whistles of when I used to take people down there? Yeah, I got a couple I can't explain. Most of them I can debunk because everybody knows the story and they like to walk by and just whistle. Especially when there's a bunch of ghost tours down there. But we're not allowed down there anymore. The other interesting thing about that place, other than Death Gate, there's another feature there, separate from the doctor story. So down at the end, if you go all the way down, the bricks get older as you keep going down, starting from this end going that way. Those bricks were actually sun-dried from slave children. We have fingerprints in the bricks and one full handprint. It's right outside somebody's mansion. So just be careful. So if you're going to go down there and you want to get a picture, it's right in the middle, just to the right. It's right by the pinkish house if you want to go down and see it. Those handprints are in 3 different locations and it's prominent. You can see it's a child's handprint. They're here in Philadelphia Alley, Drayton Hall, and Boone Hall. If you actually Google handprint Charleston, there's an article that comes up that tells you exactly where to find it. It's just part of the history, that was one of the reasons why I used to take people down there. You know, it's because it's kind of like, look how far we've come. I mean, these were kids. They had to sun dry these. They literally turn those bricks every hour, drying them by the sun. So again, take that for what it's worth. I can't take you down there because the mansion gets bitter. I'm the one that started him getting pissed off at everybody. I'll never forget that night, nor my daughter, because she was on the tour. He came out screaming. I had a whole group that night before Thanksgiving. I'll never forget it. So, you guys good on the Philly story? They're all telling different stories, again, legends and lore. I think we're going to go straight into our investigation at the Powder Magazine, because there's a lot of information there, and this is kind of like your expert level. You guys are going to have a little bit more freebie time, because there's a lot of holes in the story. Am I entertaining you at all?
Yeah.
Just haven't said a word.
I'm listening.
Oh.
Taking it all in.
It's like SpongeBob, huh? You're just a big sponge.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm going to call him SpongeBob for the rest of the tour.
I saw a rat run up.
You saw a rat?
I saw a rat running up the tree.
I was wondering what you
so
were
glad
looking
that
at.
I did not. What tree? This one?
I saw you looking up.
Yeah, break out now.
I was like, you know what? I'm going here to go back to the car. I'll let y'all finish.
I do too. We gonna get yelled at.
What did he say?
What'd you say?
What did he say it was called?
Alright guys, final location.
Yeah.
So, anybody see the building with the crosses on it? Those aren't crosses, those are earthquake bolts. Do you guys know what earthquake bolts are?
No.
Okay, earthquake
What was
bolts.
the integrity of it?
Yeah, pretty
I don't
much. So in the event we get another earthquake after 1886, they install these earthquake bolts. So the gist of it is if the building gets quaked again, you tighten the bolts up and it'll straighten the building right back up again. So there are
What?
earthquake bolts on the apartment building next to it, behind it. So as we get closer to it, you'll be able to see the squares. They're a little bit more modern. But when you're looking around, like at some of the buildings, when you're walking around, you'll see like lion heads and pineapples. They like to decorate them because we don't have earthquakes. This is Charleston. We had one big 7.3 in 1886 and it scared the hell out of everybody. So, but anyway, that is actually the Powder Magazine. It holds gunpowder, or held gunpowder. It's a museum now. It is the oldest government building we have on the East Coast. It was finished in 1713. So the gist of the building is if it's in the corner of the wall. Remember I told you guys about the wall? Cumberland Street. So and we go one block past it. So it's literally right in the corner of where it sits. It's 3 blocks away from the water. So if it were to get attacked, there's 32-inch thick walls. So if it penetrates those 32-inch thick walls and the gunpowder's inside and it explodes, it'll blow sand straight up in the air because the roof is filled with sand. The whole point of that is that the sand will drown out the fire as it falls back down. Now, sounds smart, but it doesn't work. We had another powder magazine near the battery, and it was closer to the water. It did get struck. The sand did not put out the fire and destroyed the whole building. So, no, this
Sand
one's never been
extinguisher.
attacked. It has served in 7 different wars. So, again, very interesting building. You guys get into pirates? Because that's what's attached here. I don't get into pirates, and I had to learn a whole lot after I couldn't go down Philadelphia Alley anymore.
We heard about it.
I was just watching something about it like 4 or 5 days ago. They had some documentary on
What
it.
did you say?
We heard about the pirates earlier on the Charleston Harbor tour.
Okay. So did they talk about Anne Bonny at all?
No.
And
I heard of her.
Lost Pirate Kingdom? Is that what you watched? It just came up on Netflix.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
actually did really well. So we're going to be talking. Did you finish it?
I know I didn't finish it.
Okay, did you get to the part with the sassy Irish girl?
I saw her. I know who
I
you're
think she
talking
comes
about.
up in the second episode.
Mhm.
That's actually who's attached here. So that's, yeah. So it actually just showed up on Netflix like last week.
It's pretty good.
I watched the whole thing in one day. I was like, oh, cool. I get to watch all the history I get to tell every night. Let's see how much they're going to tell. Are you getting any words, by the way? Anything kind of coming up before I get into this?
These were the most recent ones that
Whisper.
we've gotten.
Zoe's relevant. I'll talk
Really?
about Zoe. Yep. I'll give you the gist of that because I don't want to go into her story here. Derek into, okay. Nothing crazy. I do like Zoe though. All right, so during the time period that this building was being built, again, finished in 1713, it started in 1703. So it took about a decade to finish the building. So during that time period, 1708, 1709, roughly, again, a lot of holes in the story, so we're going to piece it together, hopefully. A young lady moved to town named Anne Cormack from Ireland with her dad and his mistress, which happened to be her mom. They got away from her dad's wife because she was pretty angry. So he picked up his mistress and his daughter, and he moved here. She's probably 9, 10, 11 at the time. So as this building is being built, again, oldest building we have, government building anyway, this is why she's attached to this building. It's familiar. She becomes a teenager. Once this thing is finished, we have pirates coming to town. She falls in love with one of them. His name is James Bonny. Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. So they move to Jamaica, they get married. She's now Anne Bonny, but James does not turn out to be the husband that she wanted him to be. He turns into a privateer. So a privateer is basically a spy for the British. He's spying on his own men and giving bounties back to the British. So he's kind of a jerk. And he was kind of a wuss from what we understand. So, so her and James, she's like, whatever. They're married, but she falls in love with another pirate. His name's Calico Jack. So Calico Jack is an up-and-coming pirate. She wanted more of the Johnny Depp type mentality. But yeah, it's a very romantic pirate with life. So she falls in love with Calico Jack, and he has a ship, and she wants to be part of it. So he says, okay, you can be part of it, but you're a female. You know, females back then cursed the pirate ship. So she had to dress like a male to be part of the crew, but she was allowed to be female in his quarters. So she's part of the crew. It's exactly what she wanted. But being a female in his quarters means she eventually got pregnant. So what's Calico Jack do? He drops her off in Cuba to have the baby. So that way nobody notices that the man is getting pregnant. So, right? So she has the baby. We don't know what happened to the baby, but she comes back to the ship dressed as a female. Calico Jack is now pissed off at her, and she decides she's going to go downstairs and flirt with some of the prisoners that he captured while she was away. So now we're on guy number 3. She starts flirting with somebody and, woo-wooing them, and turns out that that person was a female pretending to be a male to be part of the pirate crew that she got captured by.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So her name was Mary Reed, and she reveals her gender to Anne, and the two become friends. So she convinces Mary to become part of the crew. Again, I'm very skimming this, as I'm sure you can tell. So Mary and Anne, they're part of the crew, but they are dressed like females. They don't give a shit anymore. So the British fleet comes in and attacks. The entire pirate crew, including the people that they captured, were all drunk down below deck. So it's Anne Bonny and Mary Reed literally taking on the British fleet by themselves. What do you think happened? The damn ship got captured, right? So all the pirates that were down below deck, they get tried and hung pretty quickly. They saved Anne and Mary. They hurried up and dressed like men to, before they got captured. And they go to jail. And the Chief Justice, his name was Nicholas Laws. So if Laws comes up, he wanted to see them afterwards because they were the only ones that were truly fighting back. Their trial was November 28th, 1720. The only reason I remember that date, I started coming to this place November 28th, 2020. 300-year anniversary. Exact. So anyway, he wants to see them separately. They reveal their genders. He doesn't care. He's still going to convict and hang them for piracy. But what happens from there? They say, we're going to plead our bellies, which means they both said that they were pregnant. Again, drama. So they say, okay, you're still convicted for piracy, but your hanging is now delayed. So while they're in jail, Dad's still here in Charleston. He bails her out. He bails out Ann, brings her back home. She allegedly remarried, had a couple of kids, and lived to the ripe old age of 84. How we got so many details when she was supposed to be in hiding, I don't know. Some say she moved to Virginia. Who knows? But this building is very familiar to her. You're probably wondering what the hell happened to Mary. She died from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. So, again, this is kind of like, you can ask whatever questions you want to. I've given you all the data that I have, because I don't have much, as you can tell. I've read probably 5 different books. I think I'm up to 5 books on Anne Bonny. I don't know how many articles and videos and obviously documentaries that I've watched about Anne Bonny. I gave you what's common. So, I had to kind of piece this story together, and yes, I kind of rehearsed this shit at home. So it's kind of like I need to make sure it's all intact. So, not that I don't do 2 tours a night to be able to rehearse it, but again, I have to make sure you guys have something to go on. This is where we're going to listen to your spirit box. We're going to get close to the building. EMF, this is a dead zone. So if I get anything on there, I want to know. Because when you do get something, something else is going to occur. Like, it's almost a guarantee. So that's what I've noticed about this particular spot. So we're going to spend probably a good 10 to 15 minutes here like we did the Eliza Pinckney site. We're going to pace back and forth. The back building is apartments. It is late, so we want to kind of keep that to you only. Definitely ask the questions that you want to at this location. Filming. I am going to kind of walk with you to the front real quick just so we can get a quick shot of the front while they're doing their spirit box thing and kind of show you what the front of the building looks like, and that way you guys can see. They used to actually do investigations like what we're doing just on this building for Anne Bonny. Like, that was a tour. Just one building. So it's like, how do you even do that back in 20 years ago when we didn't have half the gear that we have now? Especially since it didn't record. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on that EMF. It is something of significance here. And I'm going to come back after I'm showing him the front and kind of play with that millimeter again. I'll kind of show you guys what I'm looking at because I already showed them. But I did get some activity here last night with the REM. It's interesting. So I'll experiment with you guys so that way you guys can see what it does. Let's go take a walk. 3 of you need to get closer to the building. You guys keep an eye on her because she's going to be alone for a minute. Unless you can hang out with them. You can make friends, it's fine.
No.
She's like, I don't like her. I don't want her tagging along. So you see the earthquake bolts now? They're kind of like peach in color. They're on every floor.
Oh, yeah.
On every single floor. You and I are going to go this way.
But my question is, like, there's no way that works.
What?
Earthquake bolts?
Yeah, I don't believe it either. But apparently they're all over California. So I don't know who took whose idea. So, again, those are like really rude and crude. As you can see, they're not even cut evenly. But yeah, this is the front lawn. This is it. So just kind of get a quick pan for me through here. That way I got something to look at in the morning. I mean, you can put your hand through the gate if you want. Just don't drop the phone in there. We won't be able to get it back. Not until I call them the next morning. I have a season pass here. Only because they have books I can't get anywhere else. So I like talking to them guys too. They know a lot of shit. And it's cheap to go here. Like, it's like $5.
This is the whole museum?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just a building that was here.
Nope. So you go up the gate, up the side, where the lock and key is, and you go up through the gift shop first, and then you meet with a tour guide. I think it's like $5 to get in. And then he'll tell you about all the different uniforms from all the different wars that served in, all the artillery's in there. There's like plaques all over, kind of like what you see on the wall. But there's a lot of stuff in there. And look, here comes another tour. So we're going to go back with our group.
The good group, right?
That might be my buddy. He does bigger tours, but that's the good storyteller. Pay in advance. Alright, ladies, what are we hearing? Seeing? Got anything? Okay. Well, she's Irish, which means she's probably Catholic. More than likely. Have you heard anything on that? Alright. Let me show you what I was doing my friend meter last night.
Who was your
this thing
first
spiking.
husband?
So this big number that you're seeing is the same thing that he's got. So when his goes up to the next green one is about 0.42. So I always look for little spikes past 0.42. Bottom one is the temperature, and it kind of reads it to this little antenna right here. This is the ambient temperature right here. So if I see it drop, it'll give me an indication. This guy I showed you before, it went a little nuts here, and I'm finding out that you really need to hold it super still for it to start flashing. So again, I always test it now and again just to make sure that it's working, and I look for spikes. So last night this thing kind of went a little nuts. I was like, oh snap, we actually got something. Which is weird because we don't get anything on that. Sorry, that was me. I'm getting all. So the little clicker on the back, on the side here, balances it back out again, and something's touching it because every time I reset it. So I have to teach somebody how to use this and not be annoying. Because the way you turn it on is the back button. Like there's a little clicker back here. See how when you move it, it goes a little nuts. So I always want to recalibrate it. Well, that was something. That wasn't me. And Bonnie, you see the box with the metal rod hanging out of it. You can get close to it. It'll make noise.
You got anything? Are you reading anything on yours, though?
Person.
Oh, that's too damn general. We're all persons.
Them as an alien.
I mean, I've had Calico showed up here. Like on your list. Calico Jack.
Oh, her husband?
No, that was the guy that she was cheating on her husband
Oh,
with.
okay.
Now, keep in mind, that guy tried to buy off the dowry so he can marry her. James refused.
So she was only married once?
Twice.
Twice. Okay.
Come on, somebody touch this metal rod. I don't care who it is.
Well, if I have to.
You'd be surprised if I just poke a little bit, I'll get some kind of response. And again, I'd still test it every once in a while just to make sure it's working. And what I showed them earlier is I can change the range on this thing. So I can make it bigger, or I can make it super tight, so they have to get, really close into it. It actually changes how much that is actually there. Pretty crazy device. But again, it's like a 3-in-1. So I need to really train somebody and have somebody I can trust with it. Can't hand this to a little kid. Look at me, it's flashing. They do that with that thing.
Well, big kids will probably do that too.
You'd be surprised. Like some of them teenagers I get, like they're into this, man. Like they're focused. I'm surprised. It's like you probably do really well in history class. No, history class is boring. I'm like, well, that's maybe because they didn't give you a damn ghost hunting tool to learn what happened in the Civil War in the middle of your classroom. But when parents love me because I mean you gotta imagine I'm making stuff alive for these kids. They can see it.
Is there usually a lot of activity in schools?
I don't know that I've ever investigated a school.
Okay.
I don't think I have.
Just a random question.
I'll tell you, I don't investigate a whole lot of cemeteries, and I told you guys why. Because if you're dead, are you going to hang out there? Nope. You're going to go to places you love. That's why Eliza comes down from Philadelphia. She took a flight, and she comes down and tells me about her damn indigo. You guys are going to be amazed about half the stuff I find within the data in the morning. I'm telling you. Like, when you're ghost hunting, you don't always, it's not you're going to see something that get poked or pushed or whatever. Scratches on your back like Zach Bagans. It's all in the data.
And then all the dramatic screaming afterwards.
No, that's Aaron going, oh my God.
No, Zach goes, stop it, stop.
He's punching the walls, flexing his muscles. Black t-shirt, looks white on camera.
Skull cap.
We know you're scammed there, Zach. Remember the
That's
big
who
baggy
that
pants
is.
he used to
Okay.
wear?
Yeah,
Oh.
and the little skull beanie that he used to wear too. And stupid sunglasses.
I'm not getting anything here, guys. No spikes, no anything. You're not doing anything either?
No.
Any other words from you? Alright. Pocket's talking to me. Come on, Ann. Ann Bonnie. Tell us anything you want to say. temperature. What are you looking like, Howard?
Oh, we got. Let me. Oh, that scared me.
I got
50,
100.
58.
I'm going back up now.
As soon as you said that the temperature dropped, 100 came up.
Oh.
I don't know if that's relevant.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't that many
58.
men. Did you get the number 13 before?
Yeah.
Was it 13?
We got 13.
13. And then it just said born.
It said born?
Mm-hmm.
As in a baby being born? Okay. We'll
When
take
you were
that.
talking about
Yeah.
that,
That's a word wrapped around
Mhm.
a baby. I'm good. But 13? There were 13 crew members on Calico Jack's ship.
Yeah.
I'm 99% positive. How far?
That
What time? Is it
11:15.
11:15?
that was when we were talking about the children of Elizabeth.
No, I think that was when we were walking up. Because it said wave around that time. We went to North Lake.
Oh, that's when it said 13?
What time is it?
It
Ain't paying
is
attention to time.
10:56.
Oh, well, it's definitely not
Hold on,
11.
Is it 10:56? Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely not 11
Yeah,
then.
you said 11:15 earlier. I'm like, my wife's gonna kill me. She hates when I come home right. Honey, the ghost was really there tonight. She knows I ain't out drinking. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call it since nothing is happening here. We'll have to see what comes out of the spirit box for sure. And then, of course, I don't go through the whole thing, so I don't know that I told you guys, but we recorded about 6 hours worth of data. I don't go through it all. I do it sporadically, kind of in our hot spots where you had EMF. I always listen to this place because I always want more out of it. But it's up to you guys. Like, that's half the fun, is going through the data. It might be annoying to listen to that staticky thing. You get used to it really quick. But I always give you a bunch of links of things to kind of verify like where we've been and what we've caught, and why things are relevant. So again, you're gonna have a lot to do, and it's, again, this isn't a part ways and have a good night, thanks for buying tickets. It's like you have a contact. So like your picture that you caught that was absolutely stunning, you guys get stuff like that, or you go to another haunted location and you take a picture and you want me to take a look at it, send it. You'll have my text, my phone number. I'm going to give you my card. It also has my email address on it. So you guys are always going to have my contact information. So again, I'm your new Zach Bagans that you can contact for ghosts. So think of me as, and I get texts all the time from people from 6 months ago, 4 months ago. They finally had a chance to review all the data. They found something on a thermal imaging camera. They want me to take a look to either debunk it or prove that it was actually something. Most of the time I can debunk it pretty quick, but again, they're looking at it. That's the whole point. I want you guys to go through it. That's half the fun. Questions, comments? Did you guys have fun? Was this something different?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed
A lot
it.
different than normal ghost stories, I'm sure. So, I am going to collect your devices. We'll stop the recordings, and then I'll get you guys back to your vehicles. I'm actually, my garage is right down the street, so I got smart and stopped looking for parking. I got tired of fighting for parking on the weekends. What do I need? I need a thermal imaging camera. So that